Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the now third episode of the weekly sit down with Yugi 601.
Woo!
I have a very honored and special guest with me to my right, Bo Knows Gaming. We're gonna have
how's it going?
Yeah, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We're gonna have a nice little discussion.
Thanks for asking me.
Absolutely. His channel is gaming related, does very good content, very good videos, has unique aspects I've never seen before, and I am very honored to have him with me again. Thank you, Bo.
It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. So how's everything going for you, man? How you feeling today? What's going on?
It's going really well. You know, I've had a really good day. I've got a wife and some kids, and we had a really good day. We went to church this morning, and we went out to lunch afterwards at a place I'd never been to before, and it was really good. And then we went and did ran some errands, and yeah, it was just a good day, you know.
Good day.
Yeah.
Outstanding. I'm glad to hear that, man. I'm glad you're doing all right. I'm glad you actually made it.
How about you?
Pretty good. Like, unfortunately, I didn't get to go to church. I was working, but I did. Me and my wife, we talked over the phone, read a little bit of the Bible. You know, I did a little bit of study that way. Now, my church does live stream it. Unfortunately, I missed that, but I do need to catch up on that 100%.
Well, you can always go back and watch that stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. When the times that I can go, though, I make it a mission that I can. But unfortunately, my job is also weekend, so it's a little awkward for me. But
I understand.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like that. It's all right, though. I'm glad you're all right. I'm glad you're here. A lot of people flaked. You'd be surprised. People get cold feet. I was getting a little nervous, Bo. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, no, man.
That's not me, man.
I appreciate that. I was like, man, I really want to talk about his channel. Like, I really like what he has. I think you have something to provide, and we'll get into it later. But you have something to provide that, like I said, not a lot of reviewing channels have done before. Speaking of which, it is an upcoming channel. I'm very excited to announce, by the way. I don't know if you haven't. Well, yeah, let's put it that way. I'm excited to announce I'm going to add him also to our upcoming creators that I really enjoy. I think you guys should definitely go check him out. All his links will be in the description. Tell us, like, what's your vision for the channel? What do you expect out of it? What do you would like to see? Where would you like to see it in the future? And, you know, what was your thought process when you started it? Because you started it pretty recently, right? Walk us through that.
Yeah, I think I haven't been around. It's been almost 3 months. So I started almost 3 months ago, the very last weekend of January of this year. And I really did that was like my welcome video, you know, the one that pops up when you first hit somebody's channel.
Yeah.
I did that. So I don't even really count that. Honestly, it was like the first week of February, I dropped my first review. And but I've been thinking about it for years. I mean, seriously, probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years I've been thinking about it, and maybe even longer than that, because I dabbled in some YouTube stuff when YouTube really was first getting off the ground, just for fun, and it wasn't meant to be anything more than silly. And then I kind of just was like, I don't really have time for this, and so I gave up on it, and now I look back and I'm like, man, I should have kept going.
Yeah,
because this platform is just blown up, you know.
My.
And I was kind of there at the beginning, but anyway, the vision for this channel, really, I'm a lifelong gamer, and it's how I unwind, it's how I relax, you know, and it's just it's my hobby, you know. It's what I do, and so, and I like talking about it, but I don't always have an outlet for that. I don't feel like so. I wanted to kind of just be able to just get my thoughts out there about games and what's going on in gaming, and but more than that, I kind of looked around and you know, like I mentioned already, I have kids. I'm a dad. My kids like playing games. They like playing games with their dad. And
that's amazing.
And I just thought, you know, I feel like I could be providing something, a resource for other parents who might want to game with their kids, but but might not know what games to play other than Mario, right? I mean,
Right.
everybody knows Mario's pretty safe, but there's a lot of other stuff out there too, and so I just kind of wanted to provide a resource for that. But then at the same time, I I look around, and I mean, I've been out to the store. I've seen parents with their kids at different gaming establishments, and the stuff that their kids pick up, and their parents don't know anything about it, and they just buy it for them. And I'm like, I don't think that was the best choice for your 8-year-old. And so I just want to be there to say, you know what, hey, here's what's in the game. I'm not trying to parent your kid. You're the parent, but just be aware that this is part of this game. This game has this content, and it might not even be negative. Like sometimes games are just maybe too complex for a child of a certain age to play it. It might not be like there's anything wrong with the game. It might just be too challenging. There might be too much to read, or it might be just too involved. The menu system or the RPG elements might just be too complex for a smaller child to enjoy. And I think when you're a hardworking parent, you want to make sure you're spending your money wisely, and you don't want to drop 60, $70 on a game that your kid's going to get frustrated with after 15, 20 minutes, and never pick up again. So just kind of being that voice of reason, I guess, and saying here's what the game contains. Now you're informed, you make the best decision for your family. So that's kind of the heart behind it, I guess.
And I'm glad you said it before me, because that was the first thing I noticed when I watched, for example, your Fortnite review, and also your Ghostwire Tokyo. Is that how you say it, right? I saw that review as well. And I like that you incorporate the whole, hey parents, this is what to be mindful of, this is what it is, this is what I would do, because again, I've never seen that at any other reviewer's channel ever, and that is like invaluable. And I think only people who play games know this, because just because a game may have a certain rating doesn't necessarily mean that maybe you as a parent would be okay with that person playing it, or just because it says that it's rated E doesn't mean that hey look, there's some things said. Or for my experience, right, just to give you a little backstory, there was a game that I played as a youngin, just the sound alone absolutely mortified me, to the point where I said, Mom, take this game. It wasn't even that I couldn't handle it, it was just that sound just kept me up at night. Granted, and then eventually I got older, I played the game, I was like, oh, that was it, you know what I mean? But I was older. So putting that, I think you put that in your Ghostwire Tokyo review. I think you talked about how it's not like, it's like hey, these are like these types of ghosts, it's not like there's no faces. You explained that to a way that I think is almost, it's like you've captured like lightning in a bottle there, because again, like, that is invaluable for parents. I think especially when you're a parent, you don't have the time to sit here and scan through the game. So it's good to exactly, hey, let me check Bo, let me see what he says about it. And okay, he's saying it's this and that. That's so convenient, and I appreciate
trying to
you
make
doing
them short, right? Too, because I know parents are busy. I'm trying to do like 5 to 8 minute reviews and capture that. And it's not just for parents. Like, I feel like any gamer could watch the review and learn about the game and be fine. But I do want to add that segment in there that parents, hey, just watch out for this and this. Here's some bullet points to make sure that you're aware of. And even like in the Ghostwire Tokyo review is a pretty good example, because that game is rated T for teen,
right?
And I think that's a very appropriate rating. Sometimes developers will really push the bar and be like, it'll be T for teen, but it's just barely T for teen, or whatever. So I think that's really very appropriate for that game. But the game starts with a car accident, okay? And there are people who have experienced that and lost loved ones, right? Through a car. Like, that's a very real world thing that happens. And so that's something that I put in the review, right? Because I just wanted parents to be aware, hey, maybe you have a kid who has lost a loved one or has been in a tragic accident themselves. This might spark something. This might trigger something in them. So just be aware that that's there, and you're not going to miss it because it really is at the very beginning of the game. It's not something you're going to avoid. You know?
Yeah, yeah. It's again, even something that I wouldn't even think of. When you said that, it just clicked. It's like, and then I immediately thought back to like, man, I wish more people did that. That
Yeah.
little, I'm telling you, it's the little things that matter, especially in such a like oversaturated market. Let's be honest. There's reviews
Yeah.
everywhere. People very articulate. You know, one example I use is like ACG. Like he's very into the gaming culture, into the explaining how the mechanics sound. He's very good at it, but never once did he mention, hey, parents, keep an eye out on this, keep an eye out on that. That's invaluable, and I do appreciate that. And I think some of our viewers whose parents are watching this couldn't be more happy to have someone like that who does that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, when I was first thinking about doing this and doing it this way, I looked around. I looked around to see if there was anybody else doing this kind of content, and I couldn't find anyone. And that kind of shocked me. And I'm not sure, like, you know, it's either going to be a complete failure or it's gonna people are gonna find some value in it and hopefully subscribe and keep watching. But I couldn't find anyone else that's doing it. So we're just gonna go for it. You know, we're gonna step out on faith and just see what happens and try to do the best we can with it.
Yeah, yeah. And your efforts definitely show. The quality's there. You've got it, man. You've got it. I think
Thanks.
as long as you remain
that.
Absolutely. I mean it. And if you stay consistent, I don't see it going bad for you. But hey, it's God's plan, right? We have to leave it in his hands. But
absolutely.
Yeah, you definitely got something that I think a lot of people would appreciate. So couldn't recommend it enough. Speaking of games that we've played, lifelong gamer, have you been playing anything lately? Is there anything that you're excited for you'd like to talk about? Like, what have you been up to in terms of gaming?
Man, so I'm always like in the middle of like a dozen different games, right? I don't know if you're like that.
Yeah.
And I have a huge backlog of stuff that I hope to play one day and haven't gotten around to yet. I'm currently playing. I finally got around to playing The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, which was remastered or remade for the Nintendo Switch. So I'm playing through that right now, kind of slow, but I'm getting through it, and it's really good. Really good game. I'm on my Series X. I'm playing through. I just started Minecraft Legends. Just came out this past week. And I'm not a Minecraft guy. I'm like, man, that's work, man. I already work. I don't want to come home and play a game where I got to work more to build stuff. So I'm not a Minecraft guy, but this is not a Minecraft. I mean, it's set in the Minecraft universe, right?
Right.
But it's really an RTS game. It's kind of like Minecraft meets Pikmin, or I don't know, a little bit like Diablo, but it's really more like an RTS.
Yes.
Like Halo Wars or something maybe. But so far I've only played a couple of hours of it, but so far I've really enjoyed it, and the story seems I think I might review it because the story seems really really kind of innocent. I think it's just like good versus evil, basically, like so far anyway. But the mechanics I think are too deep. It's another example, and I think the mechanics are too deep for anyone up to maybe, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 maybe might be able to handle it. Any younger than that, I don't think they would get much out of it. So I might be reviewing that one here soon, but been playing that this weekend a little bit. and I just dropped a review on this. I don't know if you saw this one or not,
I
but
did.
I've
Yes.
been playing this a little bit. I just picked up this Anbernic RG35 XX or double X. It's a terrible name. I don't know why they name these things with this like string of random letters and numbers.
Yeah.
Why do they do that?
I'm impressed that you actually
But
were able to name it like that.
this thing is really cool. Like you can get this for 80 bucks on
Mm,
Amazon. It comes with over 5,000 games,
wow.
and I'm not even sure that should be legal. But you can pick it up on Amazon and be at your house, in 2 days, and it's pretty neat. So you can check out my review on that if you
Amazing.
if you
Absolutely.
want, if you're interested. It's a lot of 8 and 16-bit games, but man, the, I'm not kidding. These buttons, as soon as I touched these buttons, it took me straight back to my childhood.
Yeah.
They feel so good. And I mean, controllers don't feel like the NES, SNES controllers felt anymore. And I'm not like some kind of hardware nerd where I know all of the stuff about how the buttons are made or whatnot, but it feels like it should feel to me playing those types of games. So it's a pretty impressive device for how much it costs.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you get a literally decades worth of nostalgia therapy for
Yeah,
80
yeah,
bucks.
yeah, yeah, and it's like really nice to it fits in your pocket or throw it in your backpack or whatever and take it wherever you want. It has a pretty decent battery life, like about 5-ish hours, 5 or 6 hours, and you can pick it up and play for I don't know 5, 10, 15 minutes, and then it's not like I don't know like when I would play like I grew up in the NES era, when I was a little kid. And if you wanted to pick up where you left off, you had to leave the system turned on, and hope that your mom didn't accidentally hit the power button while
Yeah.
you were away at school or something. And now you can just save wherever the heck you are. Just it's in the menu. You just save where you are, and you can go right back to it whenever. So
Yeah.
it's pretty
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah. That's awesome. I think us the older generations will have a special appreciation for it. I think
Yeah.
that was the golden era, man. I mean, the feeling of doing of this, we don't get that anymore. We don't get that. Seeing that at a bus
Some of those
stop.
games hold
Hmm.
up.
Oh
I
yeah. Oh
mean,
yeah.
seriously, some of them hold up so
Hmm.
well, and some of them don't. But that's the same for now. Like I feel like a game like Ghost of Tsushima. Have you played Ghost of
Oh
Tsushima?
my masterpiece. Love that
Dude,
game.
that game is phenomenal. That
Yeah.
that, that was my game of the year 2020
Oh yeah.
2021 even. It was my game of like a 3-year period, I would even say. Like that game was so good.
Yeah.
I think that game will hold up. Play
Yeah.
that in 10 or 15 years. I think you'll still have fun with it.
Absolutely. I was
But
so
some
lucky
other stuff,
because
not so much.
I had to unfortunately um I think it came out, it was in 2020 that it came out. I'm not sure the year, but it was in my backlog, and due to, I guess the word would be the pandemic I could use maybe. I had to stay home for 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
I had the absolute pleasure while being sick to play Ghost of Tsushima, and I wouldn't take it back for anything.
Oh,
It was amazing. Like
man.
that's the only thing I could say that was positive about that situation, is that I got to go through
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima, and yeah, what an experience, man. What
I,
an experience.
I mean, there's a game that's not for kids, right? That's definitely a mature rated game. Lots of blood and
Oh yeah.
swords fightings and different things. But if you're older, it is so good. I mean, like the music is perfect. It is a work of art. Like
Yeah.
literally, when have you played a game and found a beautiful cliffside, overlooking the landscape, and sat down and wrote a haiku? Like what game does that? Like this game, like
Yeah,
you
it
sit down
goes
and,
there.
and
Yeah.
and really you like it makes you stop and think about war and like what you're doing and why you're doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really good.
Yeah.
And the music was just fantastic. And I don't know, just all the different even like the side stories were pretty fleshed out. And man, the graphics were gorgeous, man. Some of
Oh my. Yeah.
those grassy fields that you ride the horse through, man, it's just like, whoa,
Yeah.
this is really good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even the DLC was good on that game
Oh
too.
yeah. Oh yeah. Amazing stuff. Like we can probably talk the whole podcast about that game and how much of a work of art it is. Like the fact that it was even made, the fact that Japan respected it so much that I
Oh man,
think
all the
yeah,
yes,
I think they like officially like recognized the studio as like, hey, like they actually like sent them thank you letters, like it's a legit thing. I think tourism in Tsushima itself went up because people are like actually
I'm sure
curious
it
about the
did.
history. Like it's an
Yeah,
amazing that game, and the backstory behind it is amazing.
yeah. The way that they honored the history of that while still, you know, they still did their own thing and they took creative
Of course.
liberties and changed some things, right? But the way that they still worked in elements of how it really went down in history was really respectful and really cool. Uh,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not
I thought it
every
was
day
just
that
excellent.
an American studio makes a game based
Hmm.
off Japan and gets respect for it. That's
Yeah,
that's a first. You know what I mean? It's typically the other way
yeah,
around where we've had games like, again, for example, Metal Gear, where it was a Japanese creator made a game based about America, and we liked it a lot and we gave it good critical reception. But typically when we make content here based off there, it's typically they're not a big fan of it, or there's like
yeah,
scoffing, or maybe we might not hit the mark as well as they like us to. But that was the only
right.
time, at
But
least in my memory of how long I've been alive, where they've said like, you guys really knocked it out of the park for an American studio doing a game based off Japanese culture. That's amazing.
well, I think they took their time to understand,
Yeah,
right? To
yeah,
understand the culture and the time period and the history behind it. You know,
yeah,
they didn't just see it as a cool story and just run with it. I think they really took time to make sure that they respected it. And
yeah. Thank
so,
goodness for that.
yeah,
Now, to get spoiler territory for those of you who haven't played it, I gotta ask you about the ending, if that's okay.
sure. Yeah, you can ask me
Did
about the ending.
did you the uncle? I think it was, right?
Yeah.
Did you do it or did you not? That's all I'll say.
Uh,
I have to know because this was a big debate between me and my friend. So I'm
yeah. It
hoping
was
you and
okay.
go ahead. Go ahead.
You want the truth? The truth?
Yeah, yeah.
I had I had to stop and wait and like sleep on it to decide because I
That was
wasn't
so
sure.
smart. That's
I
so
wasn't
smart.
sure what to do.
I
That
just
was
did it
like
off
one of the
impulse
hardest
emotion. You
decisions
actually thought
in the
about it.
game. Ah, I almost never go the darker route, but
All right.
I killed him.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. I'm shocked, bro.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
everyone did
I
it.
did.
I'm the
And
only one I know that didn't. I couldn't.
yeah.
Wow.
Or
And
or did I? Now I'm second guessing myself.
no, it's
Did I
okay. It's
kill?
okay.
I'm pretty sure. I think I did.
I
Wait,
mean,
what happened? What happens when you don't?
so when you don't,
Because what happened with me? I was like on the run,
yeah,
but
yeah,
maybe that's what
yeah.
happens with both endings.
It's the same thing, but I think instead of it being you, it would be the like their government. So their government was gonna,
I was like in hiding.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Either way, I think it's like the lot. How do I say? The reasoning that my friend gave me was that he is going to die anyway. So for him, it would be more honorable if it was you that did it versus if the government did it.
Uh huh.
He'd be dishonoring him, and it'd be more shame versus if he just did
Yeah.
it now. You'd end it now. But to me, it's like, look, man, I've been doing my own thing this whole time anyway.
Hmm.
Who are you to tell me to do it this way? Hey, you already don't like me anyway. I mean, that's how I rationalize it in my head. But I think either is viable. I just it's our biases because again, like,
Ah,
in that culture, it was probably expected that you did. Probably.
yeah, man, I really am second guessing myself. I don't know if I killed him or not. I know I had to take a break. I was like, man, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do here.
That's a good
Uh,
game if it makes you take a break.
yeah, it is a good game.
It is
I
amazing.
was not expecting to talk about that game tonight,
I'm sorry. Hey, it's
but no, it's good.
a
It's all good.
podcast. It flows, man. It flows. Speaking of games that you've played and the new movie that just came out, the Mario movie, I saw your review.
Yeah.
I was interested in it because you had a different perspective. I feel like you had me a little nervous, but I think you were looking out for the parents as well to give credit to you and, understand your point of view. But if you go there, you relax, you have a good time. I really enjoyed it. Personally, again, I thought that it was probably the best video game movie that I've personally ever seen compared to the rest that came before. They seem to really be butchering these movies. But I know you said you wanted to clarify a little bit on it. By all means, let us know what you really think. Do you feel like you were being a little too harsh, or were you just being really mindful of what people should expect? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, okay. So I do. I don't disagree with you that I think it might be the best video game movie. There were just a couple of things that I thought were very odd for a movie that is clearly directed towards children. I mean, I think children are the primary audience of this movie. Now, yes, it's playing on nostalgia a lot for people, 40 and younger, but it's really for kids. And so I go into it, and I do have to admit, I've seen it a second time now. So I have thought maybe I will do a second video and kind of share my second time around thoughts about the movie. But I don't know if I have time to do that.
Yeah, it's like that sometimes.
So basically, I went opening day. Like I tried to go to the first showing in my area on opening day. I was on a really tight schedule that day between work and family stuff and then trying to squeeze this movie in, right? So I think I was a little bit stressed too. I was a little bit stressed out. And I think that affected me somewhat in my perception of it. Because in my review, I talk about how it didn't really make me laugh. And I think some of the reason it didn't really make me laugh was because I was stressed out. Because the second time I saw it, I laughed quite a bit more at some parts of the movie. So it was funnier the second time than it was the first time for me, and I think it was because of my stress. But some of the other stuff in there, yeah, I was trying to see it through the eyes of a parent, but also someone who just wants to protect. I want to protect my children's hearts and minds. I want them to, I can't shield them forever, but I feel like I need to do that to a certain degree for as long as I can to help keep innocent and not. A kid can't defend themselves against lies and things that just aren't true because they haven't lived long enough to understand or know the truth as well as an adult should, right? So one of the things that really bothered me about the movie, right, was there's this character in there who, I mean, to simplify it, basically is just like life is meaningless. We just all need to die. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Death is the only relief. And that is just a lie. Like it's just a lie. It was such a fatalistic viewpoint. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like the character was really cute and really chipper and had this like really funny high pitched voice, right? And I'm like, okay, I don't think any kids in here understand the irony between the voice and what the voice is saying, right? Because I think it was supposed to be funny, or at least they played it off that way. But at the same time, I was sitting there thinking, I don't want my kid to think that life is meaningless. I don't want them to think that life isn't worth living. Like I want them to enjoy their family and their friends and the things that are good in their life and not be thinking that way. So it was just like a really weird thing to have in a children's movie, a really weird message. And it wasn't just even one little tiny moment. It was like several moments throughout the movie, and I thought that was a really odd choice, and it kind of bothered me. And there were a couple other little things like that bothered me, and so I gave it a little bit of a lower score, and I probably would raise that score slightly now. Like I think I gave it a 6. I think I would probably give it a 7, maybe 7.5 now, if I were to do it again. But yeah, I think the stress played a factor in that for me the day that I saw it. Oh, I showed up at the theater, right? I'm on this time crunch. I show up. I completely blank on the fact that it is spring break, and I'm not kidding. Every mother in the county had their kid at the movie theater because they don't know what to do with their kids because their kids are home driving them crazy. And so they're like, let's go see the Mario movie. And hey, I'll take all your friends with you too. And so there's like seriously, there's like groups of like 8 to 10 to 12, like, you know, elementary school boys in these groups, like going with a parent to go see this movie. And so I'm waiting in line forever. And I'm like, man, I got to get into this thing to see it. And I had to actually go to the next time spot because the lines were so long. And I got there early, and I'm like usually not an early person. I got there early. I was like, I'm doing really well. And there's these huge lines. So anyway, all that to say,
that definitely doesn't help. Yeah,
that stressed me out a little bit too.
Yeah. So yeah, that definitely wouldn't help my experience as well. You know, that packed theater experience, I'm never a fan of. I love the reserved seating, exclusive. Like, I'm a little bougie like that. But fair point. I think, you know what, now that you explained it a little more, I think it's fair what you said. You know, and that's the two different perspectives. You're coming from the perspective of a parent. I'm coming from a perspective of just a married man with no kids. So I was already in a good mood. I was ready to go in there and have a good time, have a couple laughs. So for example, like the scene with the super fatalistic character, I found it so hyperbolic. I was just laughing the whole time. I was like, this is ridiculous. Yeah. So I can see, but it's good to have 2 points of view. So it's good that you pointed that out to me. But just to I think maybe your mood maybe did kind of leak into it, because the way you said it was like, oh no, like I'm gonna get annoyed. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna get it, because don't get me wrong, like I'm a little bit of a fan of that type of humor, but sometimes it overstays its welcome. You know what I mean? So it didn't feel too much, but again, like you're coming from a perspective of you don't want your kids to repeat these things or actually engage in that.
Well, it's just the little seeds that are planted, right? Planted in kids' minds. And I tell you what, Mike, I can't speak for very many kids. I know a few, but I know mine, and they're thinkers. Like they stop and they think about things, and they lay in bed at night and think about things.
Right.
And so I can see them very easily laying in bed and thinking, well, I heard them say this, and what is that? Is that true? Like, what does that mean? And they're pretty good about like coming to us and talking to us about stuff like that so far. That's awesome. Anyway, in life. So I don't think it would have been a problem for my kids, but a lot of kids aren't like that. I wasn't like that. I was very shy. I was afraid to express like doubts that I had as a child with my parents. So anyway, I just felt like it was something that needed to be said. And again, the point wasn't to try to be the parent of anyone else's kid. It was just to inform parents that, hey, this is in there and this might be something that makes you uncomfortable. So here it is, you know, just know that it's there.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I think every parent can agree. While I'm not one myself, you can never be too careful. It's always good to at least be mindful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
But a great movie. I mean, overall, I will probably end up, you know, adding it to my movie collection whenever it comes out to purchase, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it the second time. Like I said, I laughed a lot more. I was in a better mood that day. Wasn't crunched for time, and that's a factor of the movie going experience, man. Your mood really will determine how you feel about it. Absolutely. It really does. It was already a great day for me, so I was in nostalgia heaven. But again, like, I'm glad you gave it that second view. And what a great, like we like that original Mario movie that Nintendo did back in the day.
Oh
Like
man.
that has left like a bad taste in people's mouth ever
Yes.
since, and people still talk about how bad that was. What a great re-entry into cinema
Yes.
for them.
Yes.
Like I don't know if we have numbers yet for this past week and this weekend, but as of last weekend, they had already passed like $700 million, like
Yeah.
in the first two
Yeah.
weekends, right? And like quickly approaching $1 billion movie globally. Like that's a big deal,
Yeah, it's a
especially
huge
for an
deal.
animated movie. Like it's huge for them.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to see, what else they can do moving forward. I'm a really big, I'm a lifelong Nintendo fan. Like I've been playing games forever, like I said earlier, but up until 2020, I only had Nintendo consoles. I got a PS5 when they came out in 2020, and
Oh my.
I got a Series X a year later after that. And so I'm kind of in that world for the first time, but I've only ever played Nintendo games. I love Mario and Metroid and Star Fox and like all of those IPs that they have. So I'm excited to see what else they can pull from and what else they can do. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's really a testament to what happens when you stick to the source material. I feel like in some of
Yeah,
these movies and TV shows, they're just doing their own thing. They hire
yeah.
some writer who has no idea about the video games, don't even try to care. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Well, they were very involved, right? They were very
yes.
hands-on with how the direction of this went and the look of everything. And man, I mean, if ever there's been a movie with Easter eggs,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You pointed out
you
the Kid
you
Icarus
can't
Easter egg,
you
and I
yeah,
was looking for it because of your review.
uh-huh,
I was waiting for it, and I saw it. I was like, yeah, that's really cool.
yeah. The Punch Out, like
Yep. Yep.
and like yeah, Donkey Kong and Jumpman,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
dude. It's so many little things in there.
The only
Did
thing.
you catch the when he walks through the marketplace in the Mushroom Kingdom,
Mhm.
and the that one toad in the background says something about all you have to do is blow into it and to fix it or something. Did you catch
Oh
that?
no!
Like the
No
NES cartridges where you have to
way!
blow it on.
That's
Everybody always blows it.
awesome.
Yeah, he says that like it's in the background, and
That's
I
cool.
was like that part was pretty funny.
That is awesome. I had no
Yeah,
idea. No.
yeah, yeah.
Good no. Good no. That's really funny. I think. Yeah. Like. I, I'm blown away, and I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. It's like, again, this is what video game fans have been echoing for the last decade. For every video game movie that's come out that you guys have unfortunately butchered,
Well,
just
yeah,
follow the source material, man. It's not that
like
hard. Look at if Marvel can do it, you have absolutely decades worth of content in video games
yes,
easily.
it shouldn't be that
It's
difficult. I
really
mean,
not.
really, it really
Yeah.
shouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, and Mario doesn't even have a story, and they made it work, right? I mean,
Right, right. In the most ridiculous fashion, but hey, it
yeah,
works.
but like Prince of Persia. What was that? What was
Oh
that
my
movie?
god.
Like Assassin's Creed. What was that movie?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Oh man, what a disservice too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
and
just.
those like have actual stories to pull from, and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and they
Mm-hmm.
just I don't know.
I don't know what it is, but hopefully this will wake these guys up because I just checked right now and it's rounding up to 900 mil, Bo.
Really,
900 mil.
man,
Yep.
in 3 weeks,
Yeah.
like that is insane.
That
That
is.
is
Yeah. Yeah. So take this as a wake up call, Hollywood. You just
yeah.
respect the source material.
And
You
you
can
know
print
what?
money.
Like I think about this. Like everybody's pushing all this like woke stuff
Oh man.
and political agendas and like this just didn't it didn't
No.
have that. Like it didn't
No.
have any of that. And look what it's doing. And
Right.
all these movies that are pushing that kind of stuff, they're bombing at the box
Mm-hmm.
office.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we don't nobody wants that. Like
No.
there's so few people that want just give us a good, fun, enjoyable
Yep.
movie to go
Yep.
see.
Yep. Yep. It's not that hard,
Yeah.
folks. It's not that hard. And it's like you said, like in this movie, I think a lot of people were afraid that would happen. Thank God it didn't. I don't want to get conspiratorial, but it may be the Japanese touch in there. Like, hey, don't even think about going there. Maybe. I don't know. But just like you said, just tell the story like it is. No need to change anything, and look at what happens. Like I don't know who they're selling to, because like you said, the woke stuff, it's not them that's watching the movies. It's people like us who grew up with those series. And again, kudos to the company who made it. I think it's a testament of what's to come. Nintendo has an absolute plethora of content. So
dude,
if they step in, I mean, they may take over Hollywood. We're talking Zelda,
they could do
Metroid,
what Marvel did, right?
You kidding me?
Dude,
where's the Smash Bros movie? Forget about it.
It could all lead up to a Smash Bros movie.
Oh man.
You could go from Mario, maybe in the next movie, instead of Mario needing Donkey Kong's help, Donkey Kong needs Mario's help, and it's a Donkey Kong movie.
You can go,
and then maybe after that, they end up in space. There was like a line in there where Mario's like, "Hey, maybe you're from my world," and Peach is like, "I don't know. There's a lot of galaxies out there."
There you go.
And you're thinking like, "Okay, here we're going to go see Samus Aran, and we're gonna go see find Star Fox somewhere." Like there's a lot of stuff they could do, a lot of places they could go.
Yeah, they can go anywhere. That's what I mean, because if you played the Metroid games, it's a little bit more of a mature environment. So there you got something for the older audience. Or you can go with the more lighthearted stuff. Maybe you can do middle ground, teenage with The Legend of Zelda. Oh, forget about it.
They could even do Pikmin. Like Pikmin is a space game, and that's not a mature game, right? So there's so many things they could do.
It's just
and so many different genres that they could do movies. Kinds of movies from, and then bring it all together with a Super Smash Brothers movie. Dude, they would.
Forget about it.
It would be over.
Hollywood would melt. They wouldn't believe what comes out of that. Yeah. It would be. I'm knocking on wood every day, I'm hoping it happens, because that would be amazing. I'm gonna dive into it because
let's try it.
I have it, so I kind of gotta. I'm gonna just put it out there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if anyone asks me, if anyone wants to come at me, they can just come to this video, and they can hear my explanation, because I think it depends. I think for each his own. So, all right, Twitter blue check mark. You can pay for it now. Apparently, you pay $8 a month. I am part of it. I am guilty as charged. So if you're curious as to my reason, let me go ahead and give it to you, and then you can start a fire in the comments, and we can talk about it all day. I'm all about the conversation, Bo. I don't know about you. I'll have a conversation with anyone about anything, as long as there's love and respect, right?
Yeah. So
Twitter blue, how does it work? So you get a lot of features that you won't get with anything else. In terms of if you got a normal Twitter account, I think they give you priority replies if you're verified. I think they allow you to tweet longer, and I think you'll come up faster in search results, is roughly off the top of my head the summary of it. So I found it advantageous for myself, being as though I'm an upcoming creator. I need to market myself as much as possible, and let's just keep it a bean, as they say in my parts. I'm sorry. Let's keep it 100. You gotta invest. Whether it be the equipment, whether it be some form of marketing, whether it be you know better than anyone. I imagine some of the videos you made were not sponsored, because mine's aren't. When you're upcoming, you need every advantage that you can get. Right. And the Twitter blue has been the first time I've ever been able to put myself at least a little bit of an equal playing field to the ones that have been doing it for years. Right. At least get myself noticed. That's all you can do when you're an upcoming creator, guys. You got to get yourself noticed, whatever form that may be, whether it be doing a collab like I'm doing with Bo, whether it be running your mouth on Twitter. Obviously do it respectfully, of course. And, I love talking about gaming. So you're going to see me most likely in gaming related articles or discussions. And that checkmark just helps a lot. So that's my reasoning. Now, whatever reasoning you have of not, I respect that. On top of that, you ain't going to tell me how to spend my money. Like, let's just be honest. Because I could spend it on something extremely ridiculous and make a video that is completely unproductive, and no one would bat an eye. But I'm doing something that essentially promotes my channel more and has gotten me engagement. I see it as a net positive, but what do you think, Bo?
Well, I think, I think that it's so like it is so hard to break into the stratosphere of the social media elite, so to speak, where
Mm-hmm.
you would get that on a more organic level, because it has become so saturated now. Like if you and I had started this journey 10 years ago, right, we'd probably already be there.
Yeah.
Because and I do think like platforms like YouTube, like more and more people are going to YouTube to consume entertainment.
Right.
And so I think that there's still opportunity to grow there, but I don't know that that's necessarily the case with Twitter. I feel like Twitter is kind of like plateaued
Mm.
somewhat more,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where like there's just they're not getting as many new users as a platform like YouTube is. So I think it's harder to get to that level where you would get that blue check mark. And if you're really serious, like serious enough to pay the money per month, right? Because it's a monthly fee, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. So if you're really serious about that, I think that says, hey, this guy, he's not messing around. Like he wants to be doing this on a professional level. And so I think it does give you some credibility, even though it's it's kind of like the pay to win model in a little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit, a little bit.
Yeah. It is. It is. It is.
But I'm okay with it. Like I don't have a problem with it. And yeah, if you want to spend your money doing that, spend your money doing that. Like there's I don't see an issue with it. Unless it's like someone trying to steal your identity and ruin your reputation by doing things that you wouldn't do, you know, and
Yeah.
they're but other than that, and I'm sure that there are ways to, you know, report that and say, hey, this isn't me. So I need you to get this down because it's ruining my reputation online or whatever. I'm sure that they have fail safes in place for that.
I would hope. Yeah.
But if they don't, they hopefully they're at least working on it.
Yeah.
but,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but you know, we've all been doing social media for a long time, and uh, Twitter's just trying to evolve and change things up and do it a little differently. And I applaud that. Like I don't think nothing should stay the same forever. We need to be trying new things, try to improve things, try to make things better.
Yeah.
And for you, you know, being a creator, yeah, I think that if that gives you some leverage and a little bit more of a voice in the community, then go for it.
Exactly. Like I can only like look at this situation from a perspective that I'm in my shoes. Maybe if I was one of those who've already made it, who've gotten their following, who've worked hard for over 10 years, maybe I would feel like it's ridiculous. But I can only look at it from a creator who started this journey last year. And I'm looking at this, I'm looking at my phone like, so you're telling me that my responses will have just as much credence as, like, let's say a PewDiePie for just $8 a month?
Yeah. Now, I will say that I do think, like, taking PewDiePie for an example, like if he has a blue check mark and he got that the old fashioned way, I kind of feel like those people maybe should be grandfathered in.
Right.
Like
Right.
they worked and they earned that. I don't think that should be taken away if they don't want to pay the subscription. But I don't think there's anything wrong with offering that to people who are trying to get their foot in the door, as a way to move things along a little faster for them.
Yeah, that wasn't
to make that a career.
That's how I thought it was at first. So when I first signed up for it, I was under the impression that people who have it will stay with it, and or at least get it at a discounted price. I don't know. And then those who want to get it now in the new system can get it.
Right.
Apparently not. Apparently, it's either you pay it or you don't have it. So it's a very weird
that part. That part I don't quite agree with.
Right. It like really shifted the culture in Twitter. So like now, like if you have it, you're just gonna get roasted, which is fine. It doesn't bother me. Like, look, like I got thick skin, but I don't know. Again, like I can only see it from my own perspective. I can only see it benefiting me. More conversations is fine with me, whether you want to do that. Obviously, if it's like harassment, I'm just not even gonna deal with it. But for the most part, the communities that I deal with, typically when I talk to people with when it comes to like gaming related stuff, no one's worried about it. It's more like the I think the new term they've been calling it lately, Bo, is I think it's like perpetually online, something like that. People who are just like glued to their phone.
Yeah,
they're the only ones that really care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people who are on there to actually, I think if you have good intentions is what I'm trying to say. If you have good intentions, if you're on there for an actual genuine conversation, nobody bats an eye. But I think if you're like, if your life is Twitter, which unfortunately most people on there, it's your life, bro. They're the ones who actually care. I don't know if that makes sense. But.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we live in a world that really loves to complain. Like they'll just find anything, right?
Yeah.
Anything to complain about and complain about it.
Yeah.
Which is a really terrible way to live, honestly.
Yeah.
To just constantly have negativity on the brain. Yeah, I think life is so much sweeter when you can be thinking about things that are right and things that are pure and things that are true, things that are noble, things that are praiseworthy. If we can just like live there and quit with the complaining, life is a lot sweeter. It is a lot sweeter.
Amen to that. Yeah. Next thing I'd like to talk to you about, you've touched on this in one of your videos.
Okay.
Curious as to what you think. Game delays. You talked about it with your video catching up with, I think it was Suicide Squad. Defeats the Justice League, is that correct? Or kills the Justice League, one of those two?
Kill the Justice League, yeah.
Okay, so we talked about that. You talked about, you dabbled on it a little bit. I want to continue. But first, it actually touched my community as well. I'm a little bit involved in Fall Guys.
Okay.
That's something that I stream. A little decently involved in the community as well. So we had our delay for the upcoming season. Every game has a battle pass, so we have every game. So season 4 got delayed. The reason why it hurts a little bit for our community is because this season promised the ability to make your own levels. So Fall Guys is a lot like you ever seen those game shows where you have to jump through the obstacles and they get to the end?
I played some Fall Guys.
Okay, so then you know, So you would actually be able to make your own levels, which is really exciting. That's cool. Right. So a lot of people are a little upset about that. Again, I'm not surprised in this current state of the gaming industry, and I don't know if you would agree or disagree with that, but
in terms of like level building, they don't want to put that out and make these promises, put that out, and then it be broken.
Because then it'll really kill the game.
Then it will. I mean, it really will.
Yeah.
So, if it's not ready, don't put it out. I mean, that's what we saw with Halo. It wasn't ready. Halo Infinite. It wasn't ready.
Oh my, yeah.
And they put it, and that game's dead now. Like people aren't playing that.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And Halo is a fantastic franchise with really rich lore. I mean, 10 years ago, they're putting out novels, like just saturating this universe with more and more lore, and nobody cares right now because they've ruined Halo Infinite, but with broken promises and it not being ready when they put it out. But so I agree, delays are necessary. And I also agree from the viewpoint of like some of these companies, they're working their employees way too much, way too many hours, like the crunch time stuff at the end of the development cycle, and some of that just leads to some really bad in-house culture, and everybody's burned out, and then they're trying to do patches right after that, and then they're trying to start a new game right after that, and everybody's burned out because they're overworked. So just slow down a little bit. Like, I'm sorry, just slow down.
Right.
Take your time and make it right.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like, and this is just a theory that I have.
Yeah.
I feel like when the gaming first started coming up, it was like, here's a rock, here's a stick. These are your only two tools. Get as creative as you possibly can with just a rock and a stick, right?
Yeah.
But it's almost like now we have all the tools in the world, yet things are starting to get repetitive. Things are starting to get delayed. And it's like, like what exactly is going on here? Because when you look at the indie side of games, you don't really see that. I don't really see that.
So here's what I think the difference is there is that a lot of these indie games, they have like one person teams,
Right.
2-person teams, and they're working out of their house already. And I really do think, sorry, can I say that?
Yeah, I think so.
I
I
can
think
say
so.
that now. I think that really some of these companies where you got to go into this big office and you're working with 100, 150, 200 people, and you couldn't do that all of a sudden, and you can't take your computer home, and all this stuff is protected by NDAs, and you can't work from home for what, like, I think that really hurt a lot of these bigger developers, whereas it didn't really affect indie gamers or indie developers as much because their teams were a lot smaller.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think that you've seen some of those, like they've caught up and they've put stuff out, except for Silk Song, which is never going to come out.
Oh man.
Um, but some of these big games, yeah, have you looked at the schedule for this year, like the stuff that's coming out this year?
I'm gonna be honest.
It is crazy. There is so much stuff coming out this year. Like 2020 was not very good. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
2021 was worse. 2022 is like, okay, we got a few things, but a lot of even that was delayed into this year. I feel like they're just trying to shove everything out this year.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
And it's like they're just now starting to get caught up, and we'll see what happens. I'm sure some of it will still get delayed to next year too. But yeah, I think it was the pandemic that really wrecked them.
Yeah, I'm just not feeling that passion in some companies, not all, but just that passion just doesn't seem to be there like it was back in the days. Like, we're talking about like games like Sonic and Mario where they just got a couple of bits of audio they can use, and look at what they made. Soundtracks that we can never forget to this day. Now it's like every soundtrack just sounds the same. It's just,
except for Ghost of Tsushima.
yeah. We talked about that extensively.
Yeah, you're right. And I tell you what else I don't like, and I think this is part of why Suicide Squad got delayed, is everybody saw the success of Fortnite, and everybody then was like, oh, you mean we can keep charging people money to play this stuff? So they're all trying to replicate it, but game development cycles are so long now. I mean, like some of them are like 10 years long. Like they're doing, like, a lot of them are 5 or 6 years, but what's trending 5 years ago might not be trending now.
No, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like all these games are coming out and then they're flopping almost immediately because they're trying to capitalize on something that became popular 5, 6, 7 years ago.
That's what I mean, yeah.
And now it's so overdone that nobody wants that anymore. And so instead of just like coming up with an original idea and going with that and being creative, they're trying to replicate someone else's success, but by the time they're able to finish their product, what made that successful is no longer something that anybody wants.
Gold. That's gold right there. I couldn't have said it better. Look at that. Bo knows gaming. He knows his gaming, guys. Tell you what, man, that was perfectly said. I didn't know how to articulate it as well as you did, but that's what I've been feeling lately, and it's just like, it's a shame. But
the Avengers.
Right.
The Avengers, they first showed that off, like people were like, oh, those character models look kind of weird, but it's probably be pretty cool. I mean, it looked like it was going to be a single player campaign kind of a thing. And then all of a sudden you start hearing about battle passes and character skins and all this stuff. And then you're kind of like, what? I don't know. And that game just flopped. Nobody wanted it. It's overdone. And that we're talking about the Avengers, which has made billions of dollars in movies, right? And everybody was initially really kind of excited about it, and then it came out and nobody played it.
Yeah.
And honestly, Suicide Squad, everybody was excited about that when they announced that in 2020. I think they announced it in 2020. And everybody's like, okay, that could be really cool. But then the closer we've gotten to this point, the more has come out about it being just like always online, always
Yeah.
driven by the battle pass and the subscriptions and all this. And
It's tiring.
you can't, for one, as a gamer, you can't keep up with all these games when they're all doing that. You can't invest, you don't have enough time to invest in all these games that when they're all doing the same thing. Like I can't always be playing, I can't play 10 games that are all like Fortnite at the same time. I can't keep up with that many seasons. Right? There's just not time to do it.
No.
And so they really need to backtrack on some of these practices and just go back to thinking of original, creative, fun games and quit trying to replicate everybody else. Like it's like you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, but you end up just failing.
Yeah. Yeah,
and you're losing your fans and your audience because you can't innovate.
Exactly. It doesn't feel accessible anymore. It just feels more and more predatory, and it's becoming insulting. It's like you should know by now who your audience is. Like, it's just the gamers. Like, I don't know. I think they just, like you said, I think they're going off the old stuff. They think that, oh, it's the Avengers. Look, it's nice and pretty. Buy the Avengers, and it's like, no, we know what's behind the curtain there, bro. Yeah. Like,
and that's the other thing. They literally gameplay reveal trailer. I'm like, this is the Avengers, except it's just characters that aren't as popular as the Avengers. I'm like, what are they doing? Like,
right.
If they had made a Justice League movie, a Justice League game,
right,
instead of a Suicide Squad game, maybe they would have had more of a shot. I mean, they would have had a lot more to draw from, I feel like. But, and then it's like, I don't know, like Captain Boomerang, who's running around with a machine gun. No, he throws boomerangs. What are you doing? Like, his name, it's in the name. Like, stop. He doesn't, I don't know.
Yeah. It's, again, they don't want to respect the source material. I don't know, man. And that's a whole nother thing, but, you know, I'm glad, at the very least, we have indie companies. I feel like I've been able to take solace with them. I'm very selective of what I play that's AAA nowadays.
What indie games do you like?
So the last one that I've played that I've been raving about, definitely not for kids, but it's Midnight Fight Express. Strictly an action game, but what makes it, again, it shows the passion of these companies is that it is motion captured action. So it looks very like, almost reminds you of like the old like Jackie Chan action type movies. Okay. Dodging, quick movements, you know, a lot of flavor in the combat. I loved it. Did a whole series on it on my channel. That would be one I would say that really cool. Stands out. I love me some zombie survival. I'm a sucker for it. So Project Zomboid, hyper realistic, not the best graphics in the world, but extremely realistic to the point to where like you could use curtains to like heal yourself. You have to watch what you eat, drink, sleep. Just again, just so much like passion in these indie companies. You can find anything you want. You want to play, you know, something a little more, I would say like kid friendly. I would recommend like something like I don't know if it's rated E or T though, but I believe it's called Hollow Knight. Wow. Yeah. Games like poetry. Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yeah.
You know, real like art pieces here, man. Yeah. And I'm so glad that like I can see that passion from the past that I've seen in old type games, like back when we had cartridges, like you said, we had to blow on them and use them. Yeah. Like, and just not knowing what you were gonna get, you know, like, man, was it gonna be good or bad? But when it was good, it was good, and you're like, wow. Yeah. I'm seeing that still in the indie companies, so that's all I can say.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thank you. Have you enjoyed anything that you'd like to mention?
I don't know if this is considered an indie game, but one of the last ones I played all the way through, I think it might be, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
I think so, yeah.
I thought that game was fantastic, and
Absolutely.
and respected the source material.
Did you feel like you were
and
right back in Chuck E. Cheese?
yeah, man, totally, absolutely, yes. It was magical.
Uh-huh.
And couch co-op, man. I played through it with my whole family. We
Wow.
all
What a
played it
Oh
together.
man.
It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun together.
That's an amazing. So all 7, or did you have like 5, 4? Like what was the count?
It was 4.
4? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Decent size. It's typical like the arcade style. Because I was like
cool
shocked to see that you can have 7. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's pretty cool. And you know, you got not just the Turtles, but you got Casey Jones and April O'Neil and Splinter. You can play Splinter, and like that's pretty cool. So yeah, this is a good game.
That must have been a joy. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was. I think that's probably the last one I played all the way through. I really like Dead Cells. Sometimes I'll just pick up Dead Cells and play for 10 or 15 minutes of Dead Cells. That one, and I don't feel like I have to finish it. Like I can just enjoy it for a few minutes and then set it down and come back a month later and play some more if I want to. But I like that one a lot. I don't know. There's a lot. There's so many.
Oh yeah, we could sit here all day about it. I've sunk an ridiculous amount of hours into a card roguelike game that's indie developed called Slay the Spire.
Slay the Spire.
Oh man, dude,
that's a really good one too.
Yeah, with the mods on PC, forget about it.
I haven't done that, but
I've
played it on PS5.
They made speaking of Hollow Knight, they made a Hollow Knight character, so you can play as a Hollow Knight character. And
oh, really?
Use the cards. Oh, it's so good. Like, again, like you can see the passion. It's just
that's cool.
Know. You got to be selective nowadays.
Cool.
I guess I'm very, very careful with what I buy nowadays. Like I said, and plus, like I don't like spending more money on video games than I do on my gas tank. I just don't like.
Oh man, yeah, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah. And hopefully for the next one, but that's it for Bo Knows Gaming. Unless you got anything else you want to run into real quick, Bo, we can do the outro.
Dude, I'm just thankful that you asked me to be on here. This has been a lot of fun. Hope we can do it again.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that, and it's an honor to have you on here, man. Like I said, I think you got something unique to provide. I can see it, and love to talk to you more for sure. Thank you for indulging me on some of the topics that I know. Hey, it can go anywhere though. We can sit here and talk about Ghost of Tsushima for a whole episode next time. I'm down. But I appreciate your time, your humility, and it was very, very awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you,
guys. That's it for our 3rd episode now of the weekly sit down. Bo Knows Gaming, guys. All his stuff will be linked. You got anything upcoming, by the way, you want to plug in, or just tune into the channel? What do you got for our viewers who may want to check you out?
Like I said, I just dropped a review on this little guy, and so I would check that out. And I also got, if you're into retro handhelds, there's another system called the Miu Mini Plus. It looks very similar to this, but it's by a different company. And I also have that, and so I'm about to do an unboxing and review of that, and probably a showdown versus video against the two to help people pick the right one.
Look at that
for themselves, and then I'm gonna be reviewing Jedi Survivor also here pretty soon, because that's coming out next weekend.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay, there it is. All you Star Wars fans, rejoice. You're getting some more goodies, man. Star Wars video games fans, you guys been eating. You've been looking good. I'm happy for you guys. That's awesome, man. That's it for this. Like I said, the 2nd episode. Guys, let us know what you think. I'll be in the comments all day when this video drops. If not, you'll be seeing me live streaming 6:15, playing some Resident Evil 4, doing the challenge against Super Rocker. Whoever gets the most deaths has to eat a nice bucket. So yeah, that's it for us. Guys, again, thank you so much for watching. Please let us know what you think. Leave a like. Bo, we will talk. And as always, guys, remember God loves you. And we'll see you on the next episode. Take care, y'all.
See ya.
All right. Wow. What a good guy, man. Amazing interview, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you're in this part, guys, we got some questions from the last podcast that we're going to answer. I got them pulled up here on my right, so I'm sorry if I look a little weird, but Space Reporter Dallas, guys. He's got a question for us. He says, where is brother Yugi since sister Yugi is here? Yugi? That's too much Yugi in one sentence. By the way, Dallas, chill. You don't see me saying Space Reporter Dallas, the Space Reporter ask us Dallas question. I'm just messing. Alright, so brother Yugi. I think if I remember the story correctly, my mom was supposed to have, I'm assuming, either brother Yugi or at least another family member, but unfortunately that did not happen. I came next. I think she said she was supposed to have twins. Again, I gotta double check with her and ask, but I was supposed to have more family members, believe it or not, but due to the complications with me, I wasn't even supposed to be here, believe it or not. A lot of complications on my birth, and the strain that it had after my sister came out, she kind of decided to stop having kids. But yeah, I mean, there maybe could have been an older brother Yugi, and that would have been cool, but everything happens for a reason, and that's okay, you know? We can't control most things in life, and I shouldn't be upset over the things that I can't control. Be upset about the things you can change, guys. That's my advice to you. But I do appreciate the question. I appreciate your curiosity. Again, it definitely would have been cool, but it did not happen. That was not God's plans for us, and that's okay, you know? Again, like, I think sister Yugi fills that void in more than enough. You know, she's very, very kind, loving, and very dynamic with, you know, the way she speaks, the way she acts with us. You know, she doesn't necessarily make me feel like I'm lacking anything. You know what I mean? But I appreciate your question, man. That was really cool. Really cool question. Yeah, that was fun, man. I think Bo's got something that you guys are really gonna appreciate. So definitely go check him out, guys. But that's it for it, man. That's it for the podcast. For the extra scenes that we added, and you know, it was really cool, man. This will be up on Thursday, guys. I'll see you then. Goodbye.